This is part of the complete history of House Targaryen, from the Doom of Valyria to their fall in Westeros. In this episode, we'll uncover how the Targaryens escaped the Doom of Valyria when every other dragonlord perished. Let's begin. From my blood will come the prince that was promised, and his will be the song of ice and fire. You've heard this prophecy before. Aegon the Conqueror's dream. The vision that destined the Targaryens to fight the dead and save the living. But what if I told you there was a dream even more significant than this? A dream that didn't just shape their destiny, it saved House Targaryen itself. And not only saved them, but made them the rulers of the world. You see, among the 40 great houses that ruled the Valyrian freehold, the Targaryens were not the most powerful, nor the most feared. Yet it was they who would survive when all others perished. And it all began with Daenys Targaryen, a young maiden who dreamed of fire and blood. At the age of 12, Daenys saw a land torn apart. She dreamed of the ground splitting open, mountains crumbling, and dragons wailing in the sky. She saw ash raining down on proud Valyria and the once mighty dragonlords vanishing in an instant. What she witnessed would later be remembered as the Doom. Her father, Lord Aenar Targaryen, did not dismiss her. In Valyria, where sorcery and dragon riding were everyday tools of power, dreams were often ignored as superstition. Yet Aenar listened. He sold his estates, gave up his wealth, and prepared his household to leave. To understand how big a deal it was, we must first understand what he abandoned. For nearly 5,000 years, the Valyrian freehold was the greatest power in the known world. Unlike the monarchies of Westeros, Valyria was not ruled by a single king. Instead, it was governed by the freehold, a council of dragonlord families, each of them wealthy, each commanding dragons. Through conquest, colonization, and magic, they built an empire stretching across Essos. Valyria was more than an empire. It was a civilization of wonders. They raised roads of fused black stone that endure to this day, built towering cities, and bent nature itself with their sorcery. To be a dragonlord was to stand above all others. The Targaryens were a minor house by comparison. They had dragons, yes, but fewer than the great families. They held lands, but not enough to rival the most powerful. In the hierarchy of Valyria, House Targaryen was a shadow among giants. So when Aenar began selling his holdings, the great lords laughed. They mocked him as a coward. To trade the shining towers of Valyria for exile on a volcanic rock across the narrow sea? It was unthinkable. But Aenar ignored their scorn. He took his wives, his children, his retainers, and above all, his dragons, 5 in number. Balerion the Black Dread was among those 5 dragons. Their destination was Dragonstone, the westernmost outpost of Valyrian power. But Dragonstone was no jewel of the freehold. It was a fortress of black volcanic stone, perched on a smoking, storm-lashed island in the narrow sea. Its towers loomed like claws over the waves. Its halls were hot with the breath of the earth itself. To the mighty of Valyria, it was a place for exiles and lesser lords, not a prize worth coveting. But still, the Targaryens settled there along with their dragons. Here they waited, carrying the burden of mockery from across the sea. For 12 years, they endured whispers, the house that fled, the family that abandoned their birthright. And then, it came. In a single day and night, Valyria perished. The ground broke apart, mountains exploded, rivers of fire consumed the land. The skies turned black with ash. Dragons, the mightiest ever seen, greater even than Balerion the Black Dread, fell burning from the heavens. Of the 40 dragonlord families, none survived. Cities crumbled, armies vanished. The greatest empire in history was erased, leaving only smoke, ruin, and the whispers of sorcery gone wrong. But across the narrow sea, on their bleak volcanic island, one family stood untouched: House Targaryen. Daenys the Dreamer had foreseen the end. Aenar had believed. And because he had listened, the Targaryens endured. From that moment, their destiny changed. No longer a minor house among many, they were the last dragonlords in the world. The Doom had stripped Valyria of its greatness, but it had also cleared the path for the Targaryens to rise. From Dragonstone, they would look westward, and in time, they would bring fire and blood to a new continent, the 7 kingdoms of Westeros. The dragonlords of Valyria were no more, but the dragons still lived, and their riders waited. Their destiny was only beginning. If you want to know what happened after it, subscribe for the next chapter.